Hello everyone, welcome to 3D designacademy.com and part 4 of the front corner of Maserati MC20 supercar. Okay, so in the previous lesson I spent some time putting on the fillets, so let's go ahead and continue on with that. And I think I'm going to work on this piece over here. If you look at this one, you'll see that this one actually goes straight, so I'm going to be doing the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and, well, let's just duplicate this edge over here like this. Actually, you know what? There is already a curve, so I'm going to just extend that. So I'm just going to extend it like this so that I can cut it. So I'm just going to say project over here. I'm just going to go ahead. Well, I can divide it or we can say keep. Doesn't really matter. As long as I can build a fillet, that's what I need. Okay, so surface fillet over here, existing theoretical, I think should be a good option. But I'm going to make it maybe a little bit smaller. Actually, you know what? I should probably make it somewhat of a similar size. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to pick all of these over here. Okay, so it does look like this is actually curvature because I believe it's just one piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one. I'm going to untrim over here and delete the COS over here, and I'm going to reproject like that. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this one over here, and let's go ahead and actually put the fillets in. So let's go ahead and put surface fillet, existing theoretical. I'm going to grab these, and let's see, 70. Okay, so that looks pretty good. For this one, I'm going to just say default. Now, actually, you know what? Because of how it merges over here, I wonder if it might be better if I just not make it so big so that it goes sort of under. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to 55. Let's do 50. Actually, you know what? Let's do 48. I'm just going to put it slightly under over here so that it doesn't do anything a little bit funky. Okay, so I think that's a lot better. And plus, I think the fillet size is pretty good because, well, the fillet, the angle difference between this surface and this surface is not that much. I think something like this is actually totally fine. So I think I'm just going to do that. All right, now that's another word. I don't like the number of spans over here, so I'm going to try Bezier. Although for this one, I think, well, first of all, let's just do auto over here. I think it's going to split into two pieces. Yep, there is, but I would prefer just a single piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and do Bezier over here. And let's see if I can do a little bit better job reducing the spans. So what I'm going to do is, actually, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to extend this piece with merge off, just so that I have a piece that I can work with. Actually, you know what? If I'm going to do that, I'm going to do Bezier. Because usually Bezier is a little bit better for extension. So I'm just going to say I'm going to extend this piece over here like this, and I'm just going to say undo. And now I'm just going to do an insert on each side. Snap it there. Oh, actually, you know what? Shouldn't have done that because I should have kept this side. Okay, well, I can just do one piece there, so that should be fine. Let's go ahead and do an insert on this one. Maybe something a little bit higher. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate both of these COSs over here. I'm just going to use them to align. So I'm going to align this piece over here, and I'm going to align this piece over here, making sure that it's going all the way to the end. Looks like there's a little twist, but I think I'll just use it. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and check to make sure that the CV structure is somewhat lined up. I think this can be a little bit moved a little bit. Same thing with this one over here. So I'm just going to shift them just a little bit so that it lines up nicely with the one above. And I'm just going to do the same thing over here like this. And let's just take a look over here, and I think that's a little bit cleaner. All right, so I'm just going to turn these off, and let's just do a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So nice curvature, nicely curvature aligned. I'm just going to make sure that the boundary blend is set to default at 0.5. And let's go ahead and align it and see if I can get curvature. So I'm just going to align and project. So I'm just going to pick the edge, align over here. It looks like it's a little bit off, which is a bit of a shame. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Looks like this one, I was able to achieve curvature. Now this one I'm kind of surprised. Well, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of shift in CV structure and see if I can get a little bit closer. So right now the history is on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the CV over here and do a little bit of slide and see if I can get a little bit closer. So I'm just going to pick this one over here and I'm just going to shift it just a little bit like that. It looks like I'm getting a little bit closer to position. Now, do note that if we shift this, because right now it's set to project align, these CVs are going to shift too. So it could cause unwanted effects. So you just have to be aware of what the other CVs are doing. So it looks like I'm getting a little bit closer. Looks like I probably hit my limit. So let's just check the CV structure over here. Okay, so it looks like this one is shifting. So let's shift this one back. See if that does anything. 0.5. Why is it going this way? Let's shift it this way. Wait, hold on a second. Looks like the deviation is actually getting bigger. So I'm just going to see if I can. Oh, there it is. 0.1. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and looks like that's a bit better. I'm just going to do a little bit more just to make sure that it's not right on the border. Now that's however, I do need to make sure that it is actually curvature between all the surfaces. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to trim this one over here. I'm going to trim that one. And let's go ahead and check the surface continue over here. Okay, so it looks like that one is broken a little bit. So let's see if I can get that to be lined up. Now, when you're aligning this one, this is the primary surface and this is the primary. So this should actually align to that one, but I'm pretty sure it's going to cause a failure. So let's give it a shot. So I'm going to pick this one and looks like it's causing all kinds of issues. So what I'm going to do is, because this piece is so much smaller than the other one, I'm actually going to do a reverse. I'm going to align this piece over here. So let's grab this one like this. I'm just going to align over here. Position. Oh, there it is. And it still retains curvature. So that's much better. Okay, delete the construction history over here. And of course, this one has a little bit of continuity issue as far as position goes. So I'm just going to delete the COS over here. And I'm just going to reproject using this over here, the surface edges, and let's trim it. Let's go ahead and check if it's still continuous. Yep, that's curvature, which is wonderful. And I can move on to other areas. Now the majority of the work is done. So this one is lining up nicely. So let's go ahead and untrim this one over here. So I'm just going to untrim here, and that looks pretty good. So I still have to do a fillet over here, this one. So I think I'm going to do that first, but I probably should handle this one first because I do think that that's slightly bigger. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. All right, so now, actually, hold on a second. I wonder if that's, yeah, I think so. Still a little bit bigger, so I think I'm going to do that one first. So I'm just going to grab surface fillet. For this one, I would say build through, because I don't think it's actually, is it actually trimmed? Well, just in case, I'll just do this one. So I'm going to say maybe 80, something like that, something a little bit larger. I think that looks pretty good. Now, for this one, you do have to be a little bit careful, because if I do an extend based on this one, I think it's probably going to go over out of bounds like this. So let's take a look. So if I were to do a fillet, it'll probably have to end up like this, which might actually, if that's the case, I wonder if I can do something a little bit different for this area. Although that might get a little bit more complicated. However, it probably makes a little bit more sense. So let's give this a shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to untrim this piece over here, and I'm just going to cover this with a rail. So it's going to be 1 and 1. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but well, it's worth a shot. So let's give it a try. And looks like, why is it not building? So 1 and 1. Could not build surface. Oh, there it is. Okay, rebuild. And I'm going to fill this in with the fillet. So I'm just going to do a curve segments over here. Okay, and let's go ahead and project over here like this. Oops. I'm just going to trim this piece over here. Let's just extend it just a little bit. If it doesn't trim, that's fine. What I can do is I can just do a curve segment over here. It doesn't actually need to go all the way through. Okay, so obviously it's not working. So I'm just going to extend it back. And let's just turn merge on. Just going to snap it over here. And let's go ahead and trim. So basically that's patched in. And what I can do is I can do a fillet between these two surfaces to patch this in. So what let's go ahead and untrim this piece over here. And let's see, what do I need to do? Okay, so since the fillet size is already determined, I'm just going to snap a curve over here. Actually, I should do this. Just snap it over here. I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to snap it over here. I'm going to turn this, delete the COS for now. I'm just going to project here and project here. And now let's go ahead and do a bi-rail. So 1 and 2. I'm going to pick this one over here. I'm going to pick this edge over here. And I'm going to pick this edge over here. Now, how much it continues doesn't really matter. Okay, and rail 1 is going to be curvature. Rail 2 is going to be curvature. Like that. And what I can do is I can trim this one like that. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue on a fillet from here to here. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky, but what I need to do is I essentially need to patch this in. I would probably make the fillet a little bit smaller. I don't know if this is the best, most efficient way of doing it, but well, it's something that works. So let's give it a shot. So I'm going to extend this COS over here, and let's just make sure the merge is on. And because right now this is a fillet, I'm going to give it a little bit of room over here for this to transition like that. So I'm going to snap over here, snap this one over here. Let's go ahead and project like this, and I'm going to trim. Well, I want to keep that one, and I'm going to get rid of the COS there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a bi-rail between this surface and this surface, and everything is going to be curvature. So right now, I don't know why it's building like that, which is kind of funky. That's really weird. Explicit control, I'm going to say 5 and 5. Now this side doesn't really need to be long. I just need it covered. So that's good. 1 is going to be curvature. Rail 1, rail 2 is also going to be curvature. Rebuild is actually not needed, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And now what I can do is I can run a smaller fillet, and this will run nicely through there. So let's give that a shot. So I'm going to grab surface fillet. Now this time, because there's a little bit of gap, build theoretical would be the right choice. I'm going to pick these ones over here like this. This one will probably end up not being used. So this one is going to be a little bit smaller, so maybe I'll try a 50. Oh, wow, that's way too big. So maybe something like 30. And looks like it's actually floating away. If that's the case, that's actually no good, because that does mean the intersection over here is actually going a little bit above. So this one, well, let's see. Let's take a look. As long as it's everything, the flow of the surface is good, I would say it's okay. But all right, so I'm just going to say default over here. I'm just going to say edge align on this one. And auto, I would say it should be edge align over here. Okay, so it looks like it won't build. So I think I might need to extend this surface over here. So I'm just going to grab this one. And I'm going to say on trim. I probably, yeah, I don't think this is the most elegant way of doing this, but okay. All right, delete the construction history here. I'm going to grab all of these. I'm just going to say, maybe let's start with something a little bit smaller and see if it runs. Okay, so 25. Just going to say edge align on this one. Okay, so let's try 30 again. Oh, yeah, that's not too bad. All right, so for this one, I would say auto is not the best because it's building as a default. So I'm going to say user defined, and I'm going to say it's going to be edge. Okay, so it looks like it's not working, so I'm just going to do this one. It should actually be edge align between this one and this one. So okay, so it looks like that's not going to work. So I'm just going to do this one first, and I'll do the other one separately. Okay, so that's a little bit better. So this one, connect, T is good. And I'm going to build this one separately. Hopefully it builds. Looks like it doesn't build. So I'm just going to say edge align, and let's try existing theoretical. Doesn't really do it either. The only problem is right now there's a little shift over here. So the CV structure is not exactly pretty, but well, it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and do this side over here. So this one is, I'm going to go ahead and just hide it just in case I need it. And I'm going to just fill this in over here. So let's go ahead and create a curve. I'm going to say degree 2. I'm going to align over here. Like this. Project over here. Just going to trim. And I'm going to do a freeform blend between this piece and this piece over here. Okay, so I'm just going to say default. I'm going to say connect, and it's probably not the best. You know what? Let's just do viral. So it's going to 1 and 2. This edge over here and this edge over here. I'm just going to do this. So it shouldn't be curvature on rail 1. It should be only position. Gen 1 doesn't need to be curvature though. Oh, it looks like there's a little gap. That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to reduce the degree, number of degrees, so that it's a little bit cleaner, easier to see. I'm going to say partial over here. I'm just going to make sure that it's curvature here and here. And it looks like it is. So now all I have to do is just fill this in with a square. So it's going to 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this edge. And I'm just going to turn off collinear options off. And it looks like it's curvature here. So I'm going to set 2 as curvature, and that worked out nicely. So like the actual car, looks like there's a highlight running nicely from here to here. So if you can see this one, it's following the profile over here. There's a nice disappearance of the feature over here. I think everything looks pretty good. All right, so now the only thing I need to do is this one. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and do an insert. Snap it over here. And grab this one. I'm going to snap it over here. Ooh, that's no good. Okay, so if that's the case, let's just duplicate this edge. Snap it like that. Let's see if that works. So the CV structure should be close, if not exact. Let me just extend that a little bit, and I think that's pretty close. So hopefully that works. So I'm just going to extend and trim. I'm going to trim this one. Oh, actually, you know what? This one, I'm not sure if it's actually curvature. And actually, I'm not sure if this is curvature. So let's just check. So delete the COS. I'm going to project again, but this time I'm going to align this curve over here. And it looks like it's actually shifting down a little bit. That's not ideal, but let's do this. I don't like how it's lining up over here. So what I'm going to do is just going to make a straight line from here to here like that. I'm just going to shift these CVs down a little bit. Remove the pivot here like this. And I'm just going to project. And I'm going to align this piece over here like that. And I think I should have aligned to a COS. So let's go ahead and do that like this. Okay, so that's good. Maybe I can do a little bit more shift downwards so that the CV structure looks nice and clean. I'm going to grab this one and I'm just going to align it over here also. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm just going to project here like this. And I'm going to trim this one. I'm going to trim that one. That looks pretty good. And now let's go ahead and grab a curve. So blend curve. I'm going to pick this edge over here. I'm going to pick this edge over here. And let's do a square. So I'm just going to use the curve just so that not extend, square. So that it retains the CV structure as much as possible. Like this. And that should be good. And now I'm going to go ahead and line it up. So 4 should be set to curvature, and let's just do a collinear like this. And what I'm going to do over here is, well, first of all, delete the construction history, delete the curves, and I'm going to untrim this piece over here, untrim that one over here. Now this curve is no longer needed, and I'm just going to align. Well, I can use edge align too. But I will prefer position influence to be just stationary. And looks like there is a little bit of issue. So let's try project. Okay, so it looks like project is a little bit better. 0.6, 0.62, looks like it's about similar. Let's try this one. I'm going to say project over here. Let's see, edge, point. Okay, so it looks like project is a little bit better. Let's try view. Nope. Okay, so it looks like there is a little bit of curvature deviation, but I think I'm probably going to leave it. But before I do that, let me just delete the COS. I'm going to trim here. I'm going to trim here. I'm just going to check the continue on this side. Okay, so that's curvature, which is not bad. I'm going to try and locally just adjust these, but as long as it doesn't interfere with the continue over here. So let's take a look. Okay, so it looks like I was able to get that to be curvature. I think I should be able to get it. Yep, that's good. Now this side, well, I can get curvature, but the problem is I do have to get the curvature on this one as it goes to the flat one over here. So let's check the continuity over here first before doing anything. So I'm just going to delete the COS over here. And I'm going to project here, here, and here. Just using the edges. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like now it could be because, well, it's not flat. So I don't know why there's such a deviation. But let's give it a shot and use align. So I'm just going to try align. Okay, so I got curvature here, but looks like it's actually deviating over here. Project, not really. So if that's the case, I think I'm just going to leave it. At least I got tangency. I know there's a curvature deviation, but because these are lined up curvature, highlight shouldn't be actually not bad at all. So I think I'm okay. So I'm just going to trim it over here. Oh, I do need that piece. And I think that looks pretty good. All right, so the corner is done there. Nice transition. I think that looks very close to the actual thing. I should probably put a corner here, surface fillet over here. Although I'm not sure if it's going to make a one big enough for this one. I would say it probably needs to be like 100. Yeah, no. All right, so if that's the case, let's go ahead and grab a curve fillet over here from this one and this one. Chord G2, I would say maybe 100. Let's go ahead and do the same thing over here like this. Just going to snap over here, snap over here. Let's see if it's big enough. Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's go ahead and project here, project here. This one. Let's delete the curves. Just going to finish it with a square. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, why am I not able to grab it? Oh, there's a slight gap. That's okay. So I'm going to align this one. Now, if you ever run into a situation, but you're going to fill it over it, it's okay. If not, you probably have to extend and trim. But for this one, this is just for a demo, so I think I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4 curvature there. All right, that's where I do want to extend this piece over here so that I can trim this one like this. And let's go ahead and trim this one. And looks like there is a little bit of an issue, as you can see over here. Okay, so you know what? This one I will extend and trim. So first of all, before I do anything, I want to just delete the construction history on everything over here. And I'm just going to untrim this piece over here like this. I'm going to extend it just a little bit. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to retrim like that. And let's go ahead and intersect over here, here, and here. Looks like our COS might be a little bit short. So if that's the case, I also need to extend this piece just a little bit. Okay, so I think that's good. It's barely. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can always extend this one and just get rid of the previous COS like this. And I'm just going to do this one. Let's get rid of COS first. Just going to extend that one. Hide and select it. Oh, okay. So if that's the case, let's just locally do it. So I'm just going to grab the new COS tool. I'm just going to trim it like that because I just need the region. Okay, I just need to make sure that it's not interfering with this one, which it kind of is, but it should be okay. Okay, so now I'm going to grab these two. There it is. And I should be able to trim everything. Project that one. Trim here. Oh, looks like there is a mismatch. Oh, that's because it's a little bit short. Why is it short? Oh, because that really shouldn't be. Okay, so let's go ahead and align. Is it partial? That's interesting. Let's just check to make sure it's still curvature, which it is. So let's go ahead and trim this one. I'm going to trim that one, and that's much better. So nice corner there. All right, so still a couple more things to do. I do have to put a fillet on these parts over here, and I probably want to define at least the headlamp a little bit. So yeah, I'll do that next. Looks like there's a little shape, probably because of the packaging issues. I think there's a little bulge, but I'm not going to do that. But at least at this stage, the majority of the surfaces are blocked in. So this, well, really nicely defines the corner. So I think everything looks good. However, I do think there's still a couple of things to do. So we'll continue on with that in part 5. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. Want to learn Autodesk Alias and digital sculpting? Then become a member at 3ddesignacademy.com, where you'll find hundreds of video tutorials ranging from basics, including curve creations, intermediate level tutorials such as this wheel, all the way to Class A modeling of the entire car exterior. Interested? Visit 3ddesignacademy.com.